Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of God Concept, an early morning joint. God damn, I woke up, took a smash deezy. I thought about some things. I just said, hey, fuck it, let me do an episode of God Concept. Why not? Shit, I'm woke. I ain't doing shit. You know what I mean? This one is going to be about, I'm mixed with a lot of things. I got Irish in my blood. I got Native American in me. And I have Cuban. It's more dominant because it's my father. My father's Cuban. My grandmother's Native American and Irish. And so from that, what I want to say is, if you look back into Cuban people's history, if you look into the diaspora of where they were from, geographically, if you look into the history of that and see what genetically makes up a Cuban, it's Spaniard, I believe is some type of, Jamaican or, because they're close to Jamaica, and Taino Indian. So you have people from the Caribbean, you have Taino Indian, and you have Spaniard to make a Cuban. I looked it up. All I had to do was look up around the time my dad was actually in Cuba, because he's one of the children that actually came from Cuba. So I had to do my research. I had to look up and see, when was he actually in Cuba, and when he was in Cuba, what was actually going on at that time? What people was in Cuba, or before he was born, what was going on in Cuba? That way I could get a good grasp on who was in Cuba at that time, what was coming, what was going. They was doing a lot of, like a lot of people in America was picking cotton and things. They was doing a lot of sugar cane. They was farming sugar cane, so harvesting sugar cane. Like picking cotton. They was picking cane, basically picking sugar cane and whatever else they could, agricultural things they could grow or whatever. But yeah, it's deep. The history between Cuba and America is very deep, very rich, very secret, and very entrenched, with a lot of secrecy, a lot of hardships, a lot of backdoor deals and things like this. Okay, for one, there's an operation that they had way back when. I should get another phone or something so I can actually pull it up. Let me see. All right, they had an operation called Operation Peter Pan way back in the day. And basically what Operation Peter Pan was, hold on. Operation Peter Pan. Let me see. Yeah, now it was a clandestine exodus of over 14,000 unaccompanied Cuban minors, ages from 6 to 18, to the United States. Over a 2-year spans, from the 1960s to 1962. They were sent after parents feared that, where was that? Where am I at? Because that keeps going. Maybe I should have clicked on the documentary. But anyway, let me click on the wiki page. All right. Now, Operation Peter Pan was basically when orphans was taken from Cuba in the 1960s to 1962. Sorry, I'm tongue twisted a little bit. Following the Cuban Revolution of 1959, right? So all this took place in the late 50s, early 60s, right? Operation Peter Pan, where they took all these kids from Cuba, right? They took 14,000 kids. Over a 2-year span, they took 14,000 Cuban children, right? From Cuba and brought them to Miami, which happened to my father. And the only reason you know that they're, you know what I mean? I mean, more reason than that, but you know they're Cuban because most Cuban children, like the refugee kids who was involved with Operation Peter Pan, anything like that, they didn't have birth certificates. What they had was baptismal papers. The baptismal papers is what actually, lets you know where they were from, their birth name and things like that. So for Cubans, there were no birth certificates. My dad was one of those Cubans who had no birth certificates. Cubans, once another regime came to power in the country, and according to waves of Cubans left upon the failure of the Bay of Pigs invasion. And subsequently, announcements by Castro that he was a Marxist. That he was a Marxist. Okay. Proclamation of a new order. Well, basically, all in all, in a nutshell, it was basically, hold on, let me see something. Oh, okay. Started smelling something. All right, so basically, in a nutshell, they took these Cuban kids, to America. And then some of the parents came and got the kids, but subsequently, some of these kids were left in America, being adopted, being taken to different places in America, right? The thing about all this is, they call it part of the golden exile. They also call it a golden exile. A golden exile. So I'm on Wikipedia looking up this. A Cuban exodus, a golden exile. First immigration wave of the great Cuban exile. See what it really was? I don't know if Cubans were aware of this. I don't know if Cuba were aware of this, right? But America knew about things like remote viewing, right? That was the reason why they needed Cuban kids here. That was one of the reasons. Plus, you want to get as many bloodlines here as possible or try to mix and amalgamate everybody because there's different races and different beings of different spiritual energy and space or time or whatever. I don't fucking know. Anyway, they get these Cuban kids here because they want to do clairvoyant. Remote viewing, right? So with remote viewing, to do remote viewing to a land, right? This is CIA shit I'm talking about. To remote view a land, you need people from that land who've seen that land before. I mean, you don't necessarily need it, but to get a clearer vision, a more precise remote viewing, you need somebody from that land, attached to that land. So they have Cuban kids. They got enough of them together to the point where they could do some remote viewing on Cuba. Because this is around the time where they was having conflicts with Cuba and other different places. So they basically got Cuban kids here, caused some type of chaos, or maybe it was an agreed upon thing by the American government and the Cuban government at the time. Either way, they made it look like it was chaos amongst the people. So that way they could get these kids to America and subsequently get the parents to forget about the kids, right? Because in order for them to take these 1,400 kids, it was 14,000 kids, not 1,400, 14,000 kids. In order for them to take them 14,000 kids, right, they had to make the parents believe something crazy, right? So they came up with a whole fucking thing, right? Parents were scrambling. And they like, hold on, wait, give us our fucking kids. You know what I mean? So some of the parents got their kids. Some of the parents didn't get their kids because some of the parents of the kids died, got killed, got sick, different things like that. So some of those kids were stuck here in America, not knowing whatever happened to their real parents. My father said his parents actually made it over to America with him, though. I don't know. All I know is it may be true. No, matter of fact, I'm tripping. It's definitely true. Because my father said he came to America with his parents. So they was actually there with the kids when they was coming over for Operation Peter Pan, right? So he came to America with his parents, or maybe he came, I don't know. I got more questions. But anyway, from there, from Miami, he came to America via Mr. Bo. So Mr. Bo brought my father to Philadelphia. The thing is, his parents were still in Miami at the time, far as he knew. I don't know if he thought his parents was on that boat with him, or if he knew his parents was on that boat with him. But either way, he made it over here, Mark Pagan, and other Pagans also made it over here, right? I found out that Rafi Pagan, the musician, Latin soul musician, I'm related to him, and he's in Bronx, New York. I don't know, but I got a suspicion that a lot of kids that came off that boat were Pagans. So, you know, I would like to run into somebody, because I'm doing more research to see if I can find a list of these children on this boat. Like, they should have the names of the children that were on this boat. I can't find the dossier. You know what I mean? I got to look more into it. And get more evidence together. But it seems like a collaboration between the American government and the Cuban government. And my thing is, we got Cubans over here. I mean, we got a lot of people over here. But mainly what I see, because I'm a part of this, diaspora or whatever, I'm part of this group, I see how they do Cuban Americans. You know what I mean? I notice it. I feel it. Because I'm native, I'm Cuban, I got all these different connections. I see it with how America do things. So basically, all right, fuck all that. With the remote viewing shit, basically, they could get 10 kids in a group or 10 people in a group, ask some random questions about an area, about a location that they never been before, perhaps. And the one who get the most information about that area right, they'll feed him more information that's factual about that area. So if he sit up there and tell you things about this area that's 85% right, and he never seen this area at all, but he knew it, that's like him remote viewing. Then he give him more information. And then basically when they give him more information, it gives him a clearer picture. So now he got more to remote view on. And that helps him build a better picture, a better lead of what's going on over there at that time. Now once you have that, right, you have a homeograph where they can actually perceive and see the things that you're remote viewing. They actually have ways of making what you're remote viewing tangible. Not tangible in a way of touch, but tangible in a way of vision. You can see it. It's sight seen. Maybe tangible in a way of touch. I have no idea. But it's definitely tangible in the thought realm. And if they have a homeograph, they can make it tangible in the physical realm too, but not by touch, only by sight. I mean, you can touch the homeograph, but the homeograph is not the vision that you're getting. Right? So these are the type of tactics that they use on people. And that movie, Leave the World Behind, that Obama just did, he had show how the satellite turned, and it was this debilitating, loud type noise, right? That noise is in your mind all the time. They can emit that noise in your mind all the time. To do it physically is one thing, right? To do it physically is more plausible, right? To do it physically, to see that sound being emitted from a truck or something like that is more plausible, right? That's physically debilitating. But they also play that sound at a very low frequency in your mind to stop you from being able to do some of the things that you can do with your mind. Like remote viewing, like astral projection, like speaking to somebody over distances without a cell phone. And that's possible. You can actually communicate with people just by meditating on them. And that's possible. You can speak to people without cell phones over distances. And that's possible. But you're not able to because they block you from this ability. Or the flip side of it, you're not aware of this ability. So you kind of need a device because they took all your powers away to do everything that these devices do natively. Everything that these devices do, you have naturally within you. Even recording, as far as the reverb and everything in your voice, you have it naturally within you. You know, the information that's on these things, we have it naturally. I remember days where we remember Rolodexes full of phone numbers and things like that. We had it naturally. Now we just got a Google search and we got it all programmed in to the point where if we lose our device, we're lost. Unless you can really tap into your potential, your unseen potential. You know, if you can unlock that the rest of this mind, because it's scientifically proven. We only use about 10% of our brain. And I always had a fucking problem with that. I mean, well, scientifically they say we only use 10% of our brain. I always had a problem with that because I always felt like I use more of my fucking brain than 10%. I always felt that way. You know, even though I don't really challenge myself mentally and things like that, I'm not like a Harvard grad or anything, you know. But I do, you know, challenge myself to some extent. But it's plausible that the only reason why we utilize 10% of our brain is because the other 90% or 85% or whatever it is still being blocked or is dormant. You know, it's in a way, it's, you know, okay. You tie a horse to a pole, right? Or if you tie a pony to a pole and then it grows to be a full-grown horse, that string can't hold that pony to the horse to that pole no more. It was able to hold the pony when he was little, but now that string can't hold that horse. But that horse is still stuck to that pole using that little ass string. Why? Because mentally, he's been conditioned to thinking that this little ass rope could hold him to this pole. But if the horse wanted to, he could easily just pop and break the rope and get the fuck out of there. I mean, for us, it's not as easy as popping a rope and getting the fuck out of there. Because we're entrenched in this shit, right? But the whole thing is, at least try to pop the rope. Pull a rope. Just pull it. Every now and then, pull it. Bite on it. Nudge it. Something. You know what I mean? We're tethered and we don't even know it. We're all tethered to something and we don't even know it. You're tethered to this life. You're tethered to your family. You're tethered to the pretending that they, you know, you're tethered to the pretending. A lot of us know truths out here more than others, and they don't reveal them for their own selfish reasons or what have you. During the Cuban crisis in 1962, travel between U.S. and Cuba became restricted. Afterwards, Cuban immigrants, human immigration would occur using makeshift vessels illegally leaving Cuba from the 1959 to the end of open travel in 1962. Around 250,000 Cubans left the island. So that's 250,000. Talking about 250,000 Cubans left the island. And on record, they have 14,000 Cuban kids that was fostered, that was in the foster system here in America. They needed that Cuban blood. They needed blood from those people over there. They needed something from those people over there. Like I said, I've been telling people that I think flight, man, skilled workers after revolution caused a brain drain. This loss of training professionals speaks to renovation of the Cuban education system to accommodate the education of new professionals to replace those that had immigrated. Okay. So this is a planned process. This is a plant process. Like I said, Earth is an incubator. You know, if you get a government that knows about all of this, right? You get somebody that traveled the world, seen all this shit, and they came here and decide, I'm gonna take all this shit and put it here and do da-da-da. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the real significance of Operation Peter Pan was. Outside of me figuring out that there was a lot of pagans involved in Operation Peter Pan, right? A lot of children unwittingly involved in that. Parents as well was involved with Operation Peter Pan, okay? I know it's about remote viewing somehow, right? The thing is, I don't know on a spiritual level. That's what I want to know. Who is the Cuban people to America on a spiritual level? Because they did a lot, you know, to do an operation called Peter Pan and steal children from a country. You know what I mean? They did a lot. For what? What are they making? You know what I mean? What are they doing? What are they doing with the DNA? What are they doing with these kids here? I'm a byproduct of one of those Operation Peter Pan kids. I have siblings that are byproducts of this Operation Peter Pan thing. This golden, they called it a golden exile. Golden exile. Cuban exodus. Cuban exile. Golden exile. I have kids, you know, that were a part of this. Nieces and nephews that are subsequently a part of this, whether they like it or not. You know, you can hide from a lot of things, but you can't hide from history. You know what I mean? Me finding out this and finding out more information, you know, God bless America. That's the end of my episode. Y'all have a good day. This is Mr. Pagan signing out, over and out. Peace.